Welcome to 2022. Jordan with Pine Box Customs here. I just wanted to take a minute and let you all know what's going on in the shop. 2021 was a somewhat challenging year across the board. Several shops closed down. Several of our friends called it quits and things like that. It was just trying. There are parts supply shortages as well as parts that you can find. The prices have skyrocketed, and it's made it very difficult to continue business the way we did in the previous years. So these kinds of things and these kinds of changes really make you take a step back and analyze everything that you're doing, analyze pricing, your building, your efficiency with your build time, and just literally everything that goes into the pedal companies and goes into bringing a product to your door. You really have to sit down and find your weaknesses and find areas that you can improve and just figure out a game plan going forward so that you can continue to do business. So we had a pretty trying end of 2021. The sales would have been quite a bit fewer were it not for Fever Dream that we pushed out towards the end of the year. So 11 months of the year reflect different numbers than all of 2020 and closer to our numbers in 2019 before I actually went full time. So that made me do quite a bit of thinking and just figuring out ways to improve my product, figuring out ways to up the quality of my product, and figure out ways to really just cut cost on my end without having to raise cost for you. And I can't say a whole lot because I do have a lot of new stuff coming out and things that I'm very excited about, but I do believe that I have really done something genuinely fantastic with my line, and I think you're going to be excited about it. That being said, I do not want to divulge too much information just because I want it to be on release day, the excitement, and we'll save it for that. However, there are a couple aspects of what you know me for that are going to be changing, namely enclosure work. I'm sure you know that I've done enclosures with several different companies, Champion Lecky, Mask Audio Electronics, Dwarfcraft, Petty John Electronics, just several other companies that I do work for occasionally and some that I do work for monthly, and that has been halted at this time. I have limited time, especially with a young son at home and things like that, and with COVID shutdowns and everything else, it was increasingly difficult to continue that part of the operation. So towards the end of 2021, we had some scheduling changes in my household, and it kind of resulted in I have time to do enclosure work, which I enjoy. It's okay. Or I have time to focus and put my energy into Pine Box Customs, which is ultimately what I want to do. So I had to make some tough decisions and call it quits on any enclosure work that I was doing. Everybody that I was working with was really gracious about it, and there were no hard feelings or anything, but I did end that part of our relationship. And that frees me up to do several things that I want to do. For one, it takes me a really long time to bring product to market because my time is so limited, and the enclosure work really put a strain on that, where for a month or two while I'm working on a big project for somebody else, I may not be able to do anything for myself. And there was just a lot of conflict scheduling things like that. So I will have time to focus on my products. I will have time to release more of my products and things like prototyping and artwork and all of these things that typically would take me several months before, I should be able to actually have dedicated time to sit down and work on these things, and not just here and there when time allows. So I'm very excited about that. I think that my energy will be better spent doing things like that, things that I love, like artwork and just design and creating. Those are what motivate me, and really the last year or so I haven't had time to do that. So that's one large change. The second change is, for the time being, as I mentioned, I have scheduling conflicts and things like that, time constraints with a son at home and a wife working, just, I guess you would call it, she's working full time, but she's not in the office full time. So we are both trying to work as well as raise a child in the household at all times. And, work is kind of difficult to sit down and have like a large block of time dedicated at once. So it may be I work 2 hours and then I need to go watch my son so my wife can participate in a meeting, and then she watches them, and just things like that. So for now, at least, I will not be doing my own enclosure work. With Fever Dream, I opted to have the enclosures UV printed, and I did that mainly that it was a project with reverb. I know the limitations of screen printing, and I know that there are durability issues with screen printing, and it wasn't something that I wanted to deal with from a customer service standpoint with people that aren't my typical customers. So all of you guys have always been supportive of me. You know that I'm first and foremost an artist, and I enjoy my craft, and you do sacrifice a little bit of durability with doing things those ways, screen printing and things like that. So I decided I did not want to have to explain these kinds of things to people who may not be as familiar with my process, and I had them UV printed. So UV printing has always been something that just doesn't attract me. You can see like printer lines on it and things like that. It's just not as appealing to me. However, I started working with Obscura Manufacturing for the Fever Dream project, and what he sent me was insanely good quality. It is a lot more durable. He was able to capture a lot more detail just with my drawings and things like that I cannot capture with screen printing on something that small. And he just sent me an entire batch of flawless enclosures, and I was very pleased with it. So that led me to just start thinking if I want to bring that into my typical stuff as well. So ultimately, I decided that I would do UV printing for the foreseeable future, and I probably will do some screening down the road. I just enjoy it, so maybe for some limited edition stuff or something like that, I might pick it up. But for now, I'm swapping to UV printing. The main factor is really durability. However, when I sat down and went through my numbers of the year, I realized that my cost, like my material cost, have gone up between 25 and 30% on nearly everything, and that includes screen printing ink, that includes my corrugated boxes that I ship your pedals to you in, that includes everything. So I kind of looked at the numbers, and I got some quotes sent for having the enclosures done out of house, and we were really close financially with what I was actually spending to do the enclosures myself versus what I could have them made for. It was really close, so it even made a lot of sense financially. All of that to say, I truly believe that moving that direction is the best thing for me. I believe that not only does it free my time up, I believe that I am bringing a higher quality product to you by opting for those services, and that's always something to be proud of. Some more challenges are to do with packaging materials and things like that. As I mentioned, screen printing ink, the cost had risen quite a bit. Even things like shipping of the corrugated mailers and things like that. So I screen print all of the boxes myself, and the ink cost rose on that, and shipping the boxes, I mean, I was doubling the price of the boxes just to get them to my house for whatever reason. I guess shipping prices have risen. I know that there are some like eco-friendly taxes and tariffs out there, so it could have to do with that. The bottom line is I was spending close to $3.50 per box, which is just crazy considering last year I was making them for about $1. So I looked into that, and I will be having boxes full color printed. If I'm spending that kind of money to have them done, like to do them myself, I figure that I can have something really, special and aesthetically pleasing, and have a full color box printed. And again, upping the quality of everything that I do. So those things are really the only things you're going to notice. I do have some version 2s prepared for this year, specifically with the Wild series, and that'll be dropping pretty soon. I'm really pumped about that. But that'll really be the only thing you notice. I am doing some PCB work, like I'm moving to PCB mounted DC jacks, PCB mounted instrument jacks, and things like that. Really, for one, to I can buy those in bulk. So I already use those for crooked teeth. If I buy them for everything, I get a price cut on all of that. So that's the main reason I'm doing that. And it's not really going to change the circuit or anything like that. It's just more like the construction on my end. But that is a difference that some may notice and some may not. So those are the main changes as far as what's going to affect you and what, like, the product that comes to your door. The other changes are I am really going to be focusing this year on gathering international dealers. I have really had a lot of issues shipping internationally. Whether some countries aren't even accepting shipments from me, so that's something I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Like Australia, for one, was backed up for several months, to where I couldn't even ship a package to Australia. The other countries have introduced, our country has introduced export taxes for one, as well as importing taxes, and other countries have introduced tariffs that for me to ship a pedal to another country, I actually have to pay a tariff that is included with the shipping price, and it brings like if I ship a pedal to Germany now, like a single pedal, it's costing me around $80, and that's one thing if it arrives, but in a lot of cases the pedals are not even arriving. So I'm shipping this for $80. I'm still charging you the typical $35, and then the pedal makes it back to me. And in most cases, I want you guys to be happy. You bought the pedal. It's already late if it's shipped to you and it's been returned and things like that. So I simply ship it again, at my cost, and that adds up. So by the time I have shipped the pedal to you, it's come back and I ship it again. It hasn't come back a second time, but essentially I'm paying, for you to have the pedal, and that's fine. I'm not upset about it or anything, but it's just not it's not a way that I can continue to do business. So I'm looking into international dealers, and I am trying to gather at least one dealer, probably just one dealer per country internationally. I won't hit every country, of course, but I want to be in the UK and in Germany and Australia, and just in the main places that I see myself shipping pedals. I would like to have a dealer there to where you can hassle-free go buy from that dealer. All of the tariffs have already been paid. You won't have to pay duties or anything like that, and you can just buy the pedal as if it was manufactured in your country. So that is a really big goal for this year, is to do that and network to several dealers. Another goal is to interact more on social media, do things like demos and things like that. There's really no reason that I can't do a demo in-house. I'm not an audio engineer by any means. I'm really a beginner on it, but a lot of demos I hear, and I know that they are running this pedal through $20,000 worth of recording equipment, and it's maybe not as true to your ears as you would like it to be. So there's no reason that I can't mic up a couple of my amps with an SM57 with no plugins or effects on it, and show it to you, and give you a feel for how the pedal sounds and how I want it to sound, and try to just bring you more content, I guess, on what you are potentially purchasing. And that's something that I'm pretty excited about. It's a big undertaking to do that in-house, just because I know that it takes a lot of time, but I think that the end result will be pretty great, and having control over another part of the business is fantastic for me. There won't be scheduling conflicts. There won't be issues with, I guess, just finding reliable demoers and things like that. Not that I've had too many issues, but in-house would definitely be better. And yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Ultimately, I'm extremely excited. These are changes that may not affect you that much, but it's pretty much an entire remodel on my end with the way things are going to look, with my day-to-day operations and things like that. It's a really big change, but I feel like it is a step in the right direction, and I feel like when I look back at this from at the end of the year, I am going to be really happy that these decisions were made and implemented. And yeah, I can't wait. I have basically everything that I make is going to have a newish look, and I'm really excited to show it to you. I have a difficult time keeping any kind of secret, as I'm sure you know. I'll tease a pedal for a year before I actually put it out, but I'm going to hold these a little closer than typically I would, and yeah, you'll see in a month or two where we're at, and have a chance to pick up some of the new stuff. Hopefully, if you're international, you'll have a chance to pick up some of the new stuff, duty free. But that's really it. I just wanted to take this time and kind of let you know what's going on. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. If you have a dealer that you want me to reach out to, feel free to send me a message or an email or whatever, and tell me a dealer that you would like to see me put my stuff in. Even better, if you want to send that dealer an email, then it might be easier to make that happen. But that's it. I wish you all the best. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this incredibly long video. And yeah, that's it. Happy New Year.